Man, am I the only one who thought that the multi-party charter thing, the parties in that pact were supposed to move as one? I'm asking this because, guys, if you remember last week, I think, is it last week? I think last week, Action SA, they did their manifesto rally, and on that rally, man, to be fair, they pretty had low attendance. And what I didn't understand is that these people, they are a part of the Moon Pact. So why are the supporters of other political parties in the Moon Pact not attending this rally of Action SA? I mean, like, this is what these political parties should tell their supporters, that, guys, right now under the Moon Pact, there's 7 political parties. If any of us does a rally, all of us, we go to this rally, so that people maybe can get used to this whole idea of Moon Pact, so that people can understand that we have a group of political parties that put their differences aside, and this group wants to take out the African National Congress and provide a better governance for the people of South Africa. I mean, like, if these political parties had told their people that, guys, if one of us does a rally, all of us go, even South Africans on the ground, they would understand that, guys, as much as we belong to different political parties, we can set our differences aside and understand that, okay, we want what's best for South Africa. Let's put our differences aside, let's combine ideas, and let's move forward. These people on the multi-charter, man, these people, they had a chance, or they still have a chance, to show South Africans that, guys, just because we belong to different political parties doesn't mean that we have to move different. We can come together, even though we belong to different political parties. I mean, people from Rise SA can go to Bosa, people from Bosa can go to Shiluva. Like, this is how it should be done. Because the only way to defeat the African National Congress is if all the people with different political positions come together and defeat this African National Congress. Because what I can tell you today is that as long as we have all of these political parties moving separately, the African National Congress will never be taken down. This is what's going to happen, man. What's going to happen in 2024? Maybe the African National Congress will hit what? 45. They will only take what? 1, 2 political parties, smaller political parties, and there you have it. You have 5 years again of the African National Congress. They can do it this way. But if all of these political parties come under one banner and move as one, I thought that this is how the Moon Pact was going to be conducted. I thought Moon Pact, man, even when it comes to the rallies, because I'm kind of obsessed about the rallies. Even when it comes to the rallies, I thought that these political parties were going to move as one. I thought when the DA does its rally, the supporters from the IFP, the supporters from the UIM, the supporters from Freedom Front Plus, the supporters from IFP, the supporters from Action SA, they were supposed to go to that rally and understand that this, as much as this is an Action SA rally, we are one under the Moon Pact. So we are going to move as one. We are going to support each other as one. I thought this is how it was going to be done. But looking at the rally of Action SA, man, last week, man, I was pretty disappointed that, man, these people, man, they could have been supported, man. The DA could have just said, man, guys, all of the supporters of the Democratic Alliance, guys, let's go there and support Herman Mashaba and Action SA. These people are our alliances, man. These people are our allies. You see, when IFP does a rally next time, the Democratic Alliance can say the same thing. Guys, the IFP is doing a rally in KZN. All of us, we need to go and pack the buses and go to KZN and support IFP when they do that rally. Because after all, even though that rally is a IFP rally, at the end of the day, these are our alliances, and we are going to move as one. Man, if this whole thing was conducted that way, man, I'm telling you, man, the Moon Pact, man, was going to have a lot of influence. I'm telling you.
Say the ANC gets 47 and Bosa gets 3, and they come to you and they say, hey, would you like to be our single coalition partner? Do you take it?
I say to them, here's the plan. You take the...
How many political parties do you think will take that, man? If the ANC comes and say, man, we need your few percentages so that you can go into governance with us, what do you think many political parties are going to say? They're going to say yes. They're going to say yes. Why? Because these people, they don't have the morals. They want the power at the end of the day. They want to say yes. But if they belong maybe to a charter like the Moon Pact Charter, I mean, knowing exactly like the values they stand for, they will never be persuaded easily. So the African National Congress, they still have an advantage of persuading some political parties in 2024. Man, they don't need to go into coalition with the DA or EFF, like people say. They can take some of these smaller political parties. They know that these people, man, are hungry for power. They can take some of these political parties. Gayton Mackenzie already told you, man, if the ANC comes and knock on his doors, man, he's in. Gayton Mackenzie already told you. And because Gideon Mackenzie also doesn't have, like, because Gideon Mackenzie is the type of person he is, patriotic alliance is there.
Records on what we've been doing since. Let's go out and do more.
Say the ANC gets 47 and Bossa gets 3. And they come to you and they say, hey, would you like to be our single coalition partner? Do you take it?
I say to them, here's the plan. You take the plan.
That's interesting.
You like if we get on the plan, then I would have served the country by going, the plan involves fixing ESCOM, it involves fixing Transnet, it's about security, it's about education, it's about healthcare. If we don't agree on those things, what's the point?
But if the ANC essentially gets a horse trading buyer's market where there are 5 political parties, all with minimum 3%, and they can pick their coalition partner, can you afford to be that principled? Like, would you rather walk away because the best plan, in your view, is not what the ANC is interested in, because they can go to another political party who will be more pliant to them just to get into power?
Yeah, and they can do that. Okay. The greatest danger, because anytime you become a small player in a big coalition, is that you run the very significant risk not only of being swallowed in, but losing your entire identity.
Totally.
And then you can look at parties like Good and all of that.
Or the SACP.
All of those kinds of things, right? Yeah. So I am very cautious that it's not just principle for principle's sake. It's the cost for citizens, particularly citizens who have voted for you. And I'm always telling people that even if I was speaking to the president of the ANC going into a coalition, you don't want 3%. Because if you get a party that's even got 2% or 1%, they can sell those votes in an open market of corruption to try and increase their self-importance. It's dangerous. What I'm trying to do is actually build a 12%, which effectively is 2.2 million votes.
But guys, do you think that is possible, man, for Mmusi Maimane to get like 2 million votes the next year? Mmusi Maimane, man. Mmusi Maimane is confidence, man. It's something to be applauded, man. Mmusi Maimane's confidence is something to be applauded, man. I remember a few months back, he said that going into 2024, he doesn't care about all of these political parties. He doesn't care about all of the options that are there on the table. He says going into 2024, South Africans are voting in terms of identity. South Africans, they don't care about political parties. They don't care about the values. This is what Mmusi Maimane said. He said, in South Africa, man, you have to be popular enough for people to vote for you. That's why in 2024, people are going to consider himself, Julius Malema, John Steenhuisen, and President Cyril Ramaphosa. According to Mmusi Maimane, this is where the race is. All of these guys are irrelevant. All of these guys, they are just making noise. Going into 2024, South Africans are going to consider Julius Malema. They're going to consider him. They're going to consider John Steenhuisen. And they're going to consider Cyril Ramaphosa. This is what Mmusi Maimane says he believes. And you can hear right now, man, like he's aiming to get 2 million votes. Do you think it's possible for Mmusi Maimane to get 2 million votes under Build One South Africa? Do you think they've made enough noise to make people aware of their presence? Because I think this is what, again, these smallanyana political parties, man, these people are not making enough noise, man. I don't know if it's the time they were launched and the election. Maybe the party could have been launched maybe like a year ago or something, so that they could have had a bit of momentum. But launching these political parties and going into the elections in few months, I don't think they can make enough noise as much as they want. I know Mmusi Maimane believes that, man, he's popular enough for people to go out there and vote for him. And I know that he's going to get a couple of votes. I'm not going to be surprised when I see Mmusi Maimane in parliament. I know that a lot of people actually do respect Mmusi Maimane. But in terms of 2 million votes, man, I don't think 2 million votes is a bit far. I think 2 million votes is a bit far. And what do you think about his analogy that South Africans, they don't care about policies, man? South Africans are voting for people whom they like. In 2019, you must go out there, man, go back and watch that interview that he did in SABC with Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh. He said that in 2019, South Africans, man, like, have already given up on the ANC, but because of Ramaphosa, South Africans voted for Ramaphosa. South Africans did not vote for the ANC, they voted for Ramaphosa. This is what Mmusi Maimane is saying. He's saying right now, if Julius Malema steps out as the leader of the EFF, then the EFF is dead. Because what? People love Julius Malema. The EFF supporters, they love Julius Malema. It's not like they love the party. This is what Mmusi Maimane is saying. So guys, what do you think about that analogy, man?
Because if 17 million people vote on idols, 2.2 million is not a rocket science given technology and all of that. If we'll do that, that's a better margin to negotiate with than just 3%, because you'll have a revolving door of Al Jamal. Build big so that you have a contrast between here's what the EFF wants to do, here's what Build One South Africa wants to do. To me, that's what this election is about. That's the choice, really.
So the Democratic Alliance is the largest opposition party.
Yeah.
And they now have this problem where...
Up to date.
Yeah, to date. There's no election before this comes out. They're the largest political party, and they have an interesting problem where I think they fundamentally don't want to work with you or Herman Mashaba, because you two both left under fire and brimstone. It's very fair. Like, I think your direct quote when you left was, despite my best efforts, the Democratic Alliance is not a vehicle that can build a new South Africa for all.
But to be fair, man, the Democratic Alliance, man, have shown a will to work with Action SA, because now Action SA is part of the Moon Pact. And I think they've already asked Mmusi Maimane to be part of the Moon Pact. So to say that the Democratic Alliance, I don't think it is fair to say that, because they've shown that they want to work with other political parties. They've shown that they want to work with Herman Mashaba. And I don't know if the rumors were true that they've already spoken to Mmusi Maimane about joining the Moon Pact, but they've shown interest in working with other political parties. Maybe it's not something they prefer, but they've shown the interest that they want to work with those political parties. So to be fair, the Democratic Alliance has shown interest to work with these political parties.
Yeah, to date.
This election is about. That's the choice, really.
So the Democratic Alliance is the largest opposition party.
Yeah.
And they now have this problem where...
Up to date.
Yeah, to date. There's no election before this comes out. They're the largest political party, and they have an interesting problem where I think they fundamentally don't want to work with you or Herman Mashaba, because you two both left under fire and brimstone. It's very fair. Like, I think your direct quote when you left was, despite my best efforts, the Democratic Alliance is not a vehicle that can build a new South Africa for all. And Herman Mashaba left under very, very similar energies and has started Action SA. And so, along with that is the fact that a lot of DA voters, and maybe a lot of your voters and Herman's voters, think that the EFF is a huge threat to South Africa. So that, in terms of personal dynamics, makes it very hard for you guys to work together, I would suspect. And from what I've seen of how the DA has responded to Action SA in Gauteng, it seems like their worst nightmare is for you or Mashaba to be successful, because it's humiliating. It's like the people who left are being proven right. Do you really think?
No, I mean, to be fair, the DA must get over themselves.
Okay.
I really think they must. I think that it was a grave mistake on their part to focus exclusively on being a minority party.
Because they gave up trying to be an electable political party, right?
Just become a minority.
And guys, do you think that statement is fair to say that the DA has actually given up on wanting to be an electable political party? Do you think like it is a fair statement? Because I think, guys, for weeks now I've been saying that I don't know what happened with the Democratic Alliance. I don't know what happened with the Democratic Alliance. I mean, we are going into 2024. And the Democratic Alliance is not part of the conversation right now. The only thing that people are talking about in South Africa right now, they are talking about Ramaphosa, ANC, they are talking about Malema and the EFF. It's almost as if the Democratic Alliance is not there. So this is why I was asking for weeks, like, guys, what the hell is happening with the Democratic Alliance? It looks like these people are sitting on their own hands, while the DA, while the EFF and the ANC are taking away the narrative, while the ANC and the EFF are saturating all the spaces. So do you think the Democratic Alliance have actually given up on being an alternative to South Africa? Because these people, man, have been fighting the ANC for such a long time. You know, at one point, South Africans were fed up with the African National Congress, and that's when you saw the popularity of the Democratic Alliance go up. But over the years, for the past 2 years, man, I don't know what happened with the Democratic Alliance. Ever since they've elected John Steenhuisen, I don't know what is happening with the party. But what I can tell you right now is that there's no motion about the Democratic Alliance, man. You know, sometimes people, they love to ask me this question, man, why are you not making a lot of content about the Democratic Alliance. I always tell the people that maybe, like, man, there's nothing much to be said about the Democratic Alliance, because the Democratic Alliance right now, they are not part of the conversation as we go into 2024. And I've been saying this for such a long time, that this whole thing, it is going to hurt them. Them not being the part of the conversation going into 2024, it is not going to hurt them. They cannot allow a situation where South Africans think that into 2024 we only have two options. It is the ANC, or it is the EFF. It is the ANC, or it is not. It is the EFF. The people of South Africa need to understand that we also have the party that is called the Democratic Alliance, and these are the values of the Democratic Alliance, and the Democratic Alliance stands for this. So where is the Democratic Alliance? That is the question that I've been asking for days now. Where is the Democratic Alliance? Why is the Democratic Alliance not making the moves? Why are they not doing the rallies? Why are they not visiting the townships? Visit the townships, visit the informal settlements, make noise, man, fix people's taps, man, give people blankets, do anything. Just show people that, guys, we are in election campaign, and we are trying to show you that we are the option going into 2024. You remember the Democratic Alliance under Helen Zille, man, they used to make so much noise. Even under Mmusi Maimane, to be fair, the Democratic Alliance was making so much noise. You remember Helen Zille, man, I said this before, man, Helen Zille would wear these traditional dresses, man, that we call seshweshwe in Sesotho. She would wear a doek. She would go to our neighborhoods, man. She would cook with our mothers. She would play with the children, man. She would do all of these things, but while convening the message of the DA that, guys, you don't have to live like this. Like, this is what Helen Zille used to do. Go to our townships, do all of these things, and tell the people that, guys, you see how bad the situation is. It is not supposed to be like this, and we are the alternative. We can make your situation better. This is why people in our neighborhoods, this is why the popularity of the Democratic Alliance went up, because people didn't think or see the Democratic Alliance as a white party. They saw the Democratic Alliance as an opposition to the African National Congress that is giving them hell. But now, ever since Helen Zille went out, Mmusi Maimane, to be fair, guys, Democratic Alliance going from 22 to 20, I think they've lost fairly enough. But I think in 2024, man, it's going to be a real problem for the Democratic Alliance. Why? Not because they have bad policies. Why? Not because they're bad political parties, because they are not part of the conversation. They are allowing a situation right now in South Africa where South Africans think that it is either the ANC or the EFF for the big parties, or if you don't want to vote for the ANC or for the EFF, you can go for smaller parties. People are not considering the Democratic Alliance. So why is the Democratic Alliance silent? Where is the Democratic Alliance? Where are these people? Why are you guys not doing the interviews? Why are you not doing the rallies? Why are you not doing the shows? Why are you not coming to the neighborhoods? Because these people, man, are coming to the neighborhoods, man. These people are taking the fight from you. You can say whatever that you want to say about the African National Congress. You know, the ANC will always come to the neighborhoods. They will always come to informal settlements. The ANC right now, it's moving. I've said this before. Ever since the ANC did that 2019 manifesto review in Dobsonville, week in, week out, the ANC has been going to the people. Even yesterday, you saw after they gave that disgruntled EFF members t-shirts, man, where were they? They were in the neighborhoods. They were with the people in the ground. This is what the EFF is doing too. The EFF is moving. Almost every week, the EFF, they are somewhere with the people. But you have the Democratic Alliance. For some reason, they are nowhere to be found. So where are these people, man? Where is the Democratic Alliance? Did the Democratic Alliance give up on actually being the party to take over after the African National Congress? Because this is what it looks like to me. It looks like these people have actually given up on actually being the alternative of the African National Congress. Where are they?
Party focus on minorities. I think it was a grave mistake. But either way, that's what we have. But they must get over themselves. We have a country to build, and if I woke up in the morning and I wanted to harp up on issues of the DA and my past, then genuinely I shouldn't be in political spaces. I literally, if the DA came and sat here in front of me and said, let's talk about how we can fix this country, I will talk to them in the same way I'll talk to the Freedom Front Plus. I will talk to them in the same way as I will the EFF or any political formation in this country, because South Africa is bigger than everybody. And I often when I listen to the squabbles, this is the bit that pisses me off properly, is that when I listen to the squabbles, I think to myself, you lot are busy debating rubbish. You treated me like this is what, you didn't reply to my SMS. It's all rubbish, given the fact that the lights are off and the citizens are going in Tshwane, hey, we got cholera because water isn't working. It's hogwash. Let's all
Exactly. Mmusi Maimane is telling the truth, man. Exactly. And this is why I tell South Africans that, guys, maybe we need to stop looking at these political parties, man. Maybe these political parties are not going to bring us any solutions, because the squabbles that we see, like what these people are playing here, this is what I've said. These people are playing racial politics. They are playing identity politics. They don't have any interest in solving the problems of this country, man. The people of this country, they are hungry. The people of this country, man, they are struggling. There are no jobs. The people are killing themselves. Left, right, and center is depression. People are turning into drug addicts. Man, there's a lot that is happening in South Africa right now. But when you look at our political landscape, when you see these politicians and the rhetoric that comes from the political parties and politicians, man, it's like all of these things that these people are talking about, and are not going to help the country at the end of the day. The squabbles are petty squabbles, petty squabbles. And I fully agree with the Mmusi Maimane that, man, the squabbles are nothing but petty. They are petty. Because while the people of South Africa, man, are struggling, these people, man, are choosing to fight these petty fights. This is why, man, I've said, like, if political parties really wanted to bring solutions to the people of South Africa, man, these people, all of them, they would come to one table. They would come to one table. They would come to one table and they would offer their solutions. And they would provide the solutions to, bring South Africa forward. But no, these people are simply interested in saying, no, don't vote for the other guy. I'm better than the other guy. No, don't vote for that certain political party. My political party is better than that political party. That has nothing to do with solving the day-to-day problems of average South Africans. If these people really care, the guys, they must come to one table. If they don't want to come to one table, if they want to govern the country by proving to other political parties that many people can vote for me, then they can vote for you, I can have many people voting for me, then you can have voting for you, then there has, like, that solves nothing for the average South Africans. And the squabbles are petty, man. I fully agree with Mmusi Maimane.
Get over that.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you, because, like, these kind of like rainbow coalition pacts that people love to like throw around, often with political parties that are fundamentally opposed, right? So the ACDP is actually not very happy with South Africa's constitution because of their interpretation of Christianity. Freedom Front Plus would hemorrhage votes if they went with the EFF. The DA probably would too. And so a lot of people think like, none of these political parties want to work together at all. But much more than that, the big political parties, and we've seen this with the Democratic Alliance and the EFF to a degree, don't want the smaller parties to get stronger. I think like it's hard to imagine building a credible opposition alliance amongst political parties, considering all these dynamics.
Of course. But, and I want to say this, what's been the most working coalition in the last 30 years, or as we head into 30 years? Actually, the most working one has been the ANC, bizarrely.
Yes.
They're a coalition of some sort.
Yeah.
You've got COSATU.
Correct.
You've got the ANC. You've got the SSCP. They've all come together.
That's true.
How do they... You may not agree with them why they exist. Mm-hmm. You might say they exist to loot. So they get together and they must stick it out, right? Because, we've got to loot more. But either way... They've stuck together, and I think there are some lessons there that we can pick up. The first lesson that we can learn is that they've been able to put one brand on the ballot.
That's true.
And that's a debate that I think any coalition that's been pre-negotiated has to consider.
Mm-hmm.
The second is the leader or the president of the ANC is the internalization of the contradictions.
I hear you.
And by that, what I mean is that person must be able to recognize that if the trade unions want above inflation increase, and say, for example, the SACP wants cabinet positions, and say, for example, the body wants growth and business and all of that,
got to balance
that leader has to figure out how to harmonize and respond to
the middle path, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And furthermore, they are then the face of all the organizations. They become the principal who we all say, they did it pre-94. Mandela was not the only one who fought for freedom.
Exactly.
You had Ahmed Kathrada and many others who spent nearly comparable times, Governor Mbeki and so. But it was become the issue of bring back Nelson Mandela. So I think one of the things, because I promise you now, we can run a poll on this thing and ask people, how does the president become elected? People don't know the step-by-step mechanisms of that. what I would recommend that we do is, if we set up something, we agree on something, let's agree also on the leadership and the presidential candidate. Because I think if we ask voters next year to say, here's your choice, Steenhuisen, Ramaphosa, Malema, Maimane, whoever, those are your choices. Then suddenly it sobers up, because actually the executive has got incredible power.
Totally.
And then you could say to people, go vote in this interest, because that's who you'll get as your president. And I worry that some of the configurations that have taken place have a subtle underpinning that goes, if I vote this way, I'll get that one as the president, and I'm not sure I want that. Which will cancel out the actual principle of the coalition.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a leader of this opposition alliance who could comfortably, because South African people who are dissatisfied with the ANC then cattle shop between different political parties about who they'd support.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised, for example, if someone who chose to vote for you also were partially saying you're the best of the not Malema, Steenhuisen, Mashaba, for example. And so for then, it would be very difficult for you to then say, we're going to pick whoever name as our unity consolidation candidate to rally behind.
What I'm saying is, if we were to spend time doing that, that's...
And guys, if the Moon Pact were to do what Mmusi Maimane and Dan Koda are talking about, to elect one leader, who is going to be the leader of all the pact, who do you think is going to be a suitable leader for the Moon Pact? If they were to have one leader that is going to be the leader of this whole pact, like if the Moon Pact wins the election, this is the guy that is going to be the president of South Africa. Who do you think is the most suitable guy for that position? You look at all the leaders of the parties in Moon Pact. You look at Herman Mashaba, I think Neil de Beer, you think John Steenhuisen, you think Kunja, what is this new guy from the IFP? I forgot his name. Who is going to be the suitable lead, or who will be the suitable leader to lead the Moon Pact? Who will be the suitable? Who is that person that South Africans are going to be maybe a bit comfortable with having as president if the Moon Pact goes and wins the elections in 2024? Please, guys, tell me what you think.
What we've got to focus on and learn the harsh lessons that say people follow people.
What's the chances of that ever happening?
I think it's probable. I think that...
You think that all these different major political leaders, aside from you, with their own self-interested kind of positions and their own voter bases, would be comfortable doing that?
I really think it's the pathway forward. And even if you may not get a single entity on the table, let's agree on the message.
Okay.
Because here's the danger. Like you used a very good example earlier on, and I've spoken to the leaders about it. I said to them, at the end of the day, it's not just your own selfish interests. It's the fact that in each political party is this idea that political leaders go to bed worried about the most selfish voter. So I use real examples. An IFP voter would think, I want to preserve the Ngonyama Trust. But I know for a fact that maybe the DA may think that's a bad idea to have the Ngonyama Trust on land.
That's true.
So that voter thinks, if I vote for this thing, I'll get a DA telling me I don't have my Ngonyama Trust anymore.
Yeah.
And there may be a disincentive to voting. Or the Freedom Front Plus might say, I want this language to be supreme. And then another voter might say, no, I actually think all 11 must be in universities, or whatever the case might be. So all of these contradictions exist. And that's why I'm saying we've got to get in the room. And at least, even if you say, I'm not settled on this issue,
you commit on the principles.
I can say, maybe it's not the most central issue going into an election. So I'm willing to park Ngonyama Trust. I'm willing to park language and Stellenbosch. I'm willing to park all of that. But here's what we will agree on. Here's what safety looks like. Here's how, all of those things.
So who needs to be...
Exactly, man. I feel like Mmusi Maimane, man, has ended it. We've been saying this, guys, for years. Like, come together in one room, man. Mmusi Maimane shows that he really cares about fixing the problems of this country. He really doesn't care about the political parties and having this person or that person as the leader, man. It is always about coming together into one room and having and coming together and providing the solutions so that this country can go forward. Because what is happening right now, when you look at political parties, man, it's almost as if these guys are happy that the country has broken down, because it gives them the chance to come and say, okay, guys, we are better than the next person. This is what it feels like. And this is what the South Africans feel like right now. They don't feel like they have people who are actually there for them The South Africans don't feel like they have people who are actually there for them and trying to bring solutions so that their lives can be better. We have all of these people who are selfish, these people who are power hungry. Everyone wants to be in the union buildings. Nothing to do with solving the problems of South Africa. So shout out to Mmusi Maimane, man. Shout out to Mmusi Maimane and Build One South Africa, because this is exactly what we should look at, man, as South Africans, man. It is not about the political parties. It is not about us loving certain political parties. It is about us loving South Africa and about us wanting what's best for South Africa. So shout out to Mmusi Maimane, man. I feel like, you know, when someone says stuff like this, man, it really makes you consider joining them. Honestly, when someone says this, it really makes you consider joining them. Because you can see the movement, it has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with solving the problems of this country. Mmusi Maimane is willing, man. He's willing to sacrifice some of his policies. He's willing to sacrifice something so that maybe something can be done for the people of South Africa. And this is how all our political parties and politicians should be like. The EFF, the ANC, the DA, man, all of these guys, they should be able to say, guys, we are standing for this, but at the moment, this is not the most important thing for us. This is not the most important thing for South Africa. We can put it aside. The same thing can be done. Maybe the EFF can say, okay, guys, as much as we have our own policies, this one, we know that this one, we can put it aside, like, and come together and bring solutions, and so that the lives of South Africans can be better. This is what, guys, this is what we should look for, man. Like, these political parties, man, they're just playing a huge game on us, man. It's always about, I'm better than the next person, that person is better than that person, man. To them, they don't care about the average needs of South Africans. And to hear Mmusi Maimane say that, man, it's really refreshing. To hear someone as influential as Mmusi Maimane speak like this and say, guys, we need to come together, one room, provide solutions for South Africa, figure out a way to work together, man. Like, compromise some of our policies so that we can come together and work together. This is what the Moon Pact was supposed to do, man. This is what the Moon Pact was supposed to do. So, guys, I don't know what you think. Please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.